A spot in the grand final is on the line for two teams that last year weren't even in the finals. It's the 1-2 clash. The Tigers and the Cats. Seacombe versus Walkerville, the best two defensive and pitching teams in the competition. Eric Ballner here, joined by James Harris shortly, but Anthony Weatherston here to start us off as well. And Weathers, this has been a great story for both of these clubs this year.
5th and 6th place last year. Oh, hello everybody, and great job on that last game, Eric. It was awesome. It was chaos, but you did it beautifully. Look, Walkerville 6th last year, very disappointing by their own standards, and finished minor premiers, win the Linda Martin Trophy, presented tomorrow night. And Seacombe 5th, just missed out. And this year they've picked up Whitney Shepherd, they've picked up Neely Peterson, and those two key pieces have unlocked the Tigers and have turned them into a defensive team that is now just getting the job done.
I feel like when you look at the stories for both of these teams, they've won games in almost the same ways. Maybe at times in the year the offense hasn't been clicking, but what's been consistent all year is outstanding pitching, not just great pitching, and top-of-the-line defense. These are the two best statistical defensive teams, a .950 percentage for Seacombe and a .964 percentage for Walkerville, and ERA as well. The two women in the circle are ERAs around that 1 mark.
The fact that Walkerville's had the ball hit at them 200 times less in the season puts that into perspective on how much of a difference 24 in the middle Taylor Caudle has made from to the Cats. Obviously a strikeout superstar for Boise State. She's now, on the verge. She's about 20 strikeouts short of throwing the most ever in a calendar season. Even that being said, she's actually ahead of where the other girl was. We can talk about that later. But, yeah, she's transformed the Walkerville defence. When you've got Robertson, when you've got King already in that nucleus, Ellie Smith brings some international experience, big hitting and solid at third base. And Bailey Lux has been a real find, late in the season, joined the Cats and has been outstanding, not only behind the plate, but has given them some real offensive impetus. So it could be a pitching duel, it could be a hitting duel, it could be a variety of different things. So looking forward to the contest.
On that Walkerville defense, it is Ellie Smith at third, Chelsea Robinson at short, Sophie King at second, Georgia Mason at first. Mason nominated for a Defensive Player of the Year. Bailey Lux catching. Sophie Robertson left, Haley Mayer at center, Erin Stone in the lineup at right. We'll get to the Seacombe lineup in a moment, but what you need to know is one of the best players in the competition. In fact, she's a finalist for Kath Coral. It's Regan Diaz, who has put together a mighty fine season at the top of the lineup for the Seacombe Tigers. Caudle with the first pitch, and let's play ball. And just in time to say play ball is James Harris. James, just a remarkable story. Both of these teams making it to this point. One of them, after missing the finals last year, is guaranteed to be playing in a grand final next Saturday.
Thanks for having us, Eric and Anthony. Good evening, and everyone watching. I'm ready to go. I did the changeover with the kids with George. I'm here now, so thanks for holding up the game for me. A
crazy game before this in an elimination final. Port Adelaide winning, and that is who will await the loser of this game on Wednesday night. The winner gets a week off, a week to dream of the grand final. But Taylor Caudle, who has been nothing short of brilliant this season. 224 strikeouts in the minor rounds. So much swing and miss stuff. Weathers, what is it about her that makes you chase as a batter?
That's a great question, Eric, and hopefully we can have a chat about it after this.
Regan Diaz with some pop. It goes straight to center field, though. Haley Mayer moves under, and there's a crucial first out.
The thing I was saying to a couple of people before the game that's really impressed me about her, and it's, Steph Trzynski's the same, and you can see some nerves out there for the Cats as they're trying to get the ball back to the pitcher, and they're all in each other's way. So there's some nerves out there, which is good to see. But like Steph, there's not a lot of body movement going on. It's all focused energy that explodes forward, and I think that would be very hard to read pace-wise. She's got an amazing change-up, and we know what her rise does to most of the hitters in the league.
Bree Lint up to bat. She swings at a pitch, and that knocks it into left field. And it's Bree Lint who has the first hit of the ball game, and a rare early base runner conceded by Taylor Cottle.
And that's an unusual play for the Tigers too, as you can just see here on the Sporty Bar replay. Bree swinging at a first pitch. Traditionally, if you've done the scout report on her, her on base is very high because she's got a great eye for her zone, a lot of walks. So for her to swing first pitch, come up with that. This player here is the key, I think, for the Tigers tonight.
It's Neely Peterson. She's hitting .306 on the year. But James, if you were to pick a player in the second half of the season in the competition that really shone bright, Neely Peterson would be on the short list, if not the player to pick.
It's in my notes right here that the Tigers definitely looking for Peterson and Havas to have a massive final series to increase their chances of a championship. Peterson, top of the list for me, Eric.
It was interesting to hear Peterson in the commentary on Wednesday as she is jammed, and this one is a great diving effort from Bailey Lukes, who moves forward and makes the play and retires perhaps the hottest bat in the second half.
That's a very, very impressive out. So you can see Caudle tries to jam her, and as she turns on it, just gets it high on the bat, doesn't get the rotation. And obviously Lux, realising the importance of that, just makes sure that that out stays. But not out of it yet. Havas at the plate, had a much better second half of the season.
Becky Havas, the numbers were a bit below 200 at Christmas. It's ended up at about 264. Havas has pulled a few votes, it looks like, in the second half in particular. She's in the 11 finalists named on the Kath Coral.
Yeah, big night tomorrow night. Not that I'm nervous about it.
Proven vote getter, Becky Havas, won the B grade medal of the year that Seacombe weren't in the A grade in the Premier League.
And when
tied with Riley Moore.
She came up to A grade the next year, and she hasn't really looked back, has she? She's been on teams of the year. She's been an emotional leader as much as a statistical leader.
Interesting with Bree, she's carried some injuries this year in the legs. And with one out with Peterson, it's interesting that maybe they didn't go to an extended bench and use that opportunity with the 3-4s.
Runner is going, and sliding in there is those legs of Bree Lint.
That's a good sider for Lux. I think that whilst that's a win for Seacombe in regards to the advanced runner in that position, I think Lux and Robinson getting that out of the way early in the game, I think they'll be better the next time round.
Throw was there.
Yeah. 2 out, I think Chelsea maybe just didn't think that Lint was going to do it.
Yeah, not a known base stealer. You mentioned the
and with all
before.
with all the leg injuries and stuff, finals, you got to take your chances. Yeah.
Runner in scoring position.
Put into play over to second. Well, there may be nerves from a few players out there, but one person who's been so reliable over the years is that woman, Sophie King, who makes that play look easy.
Yeah, she's a finals specialist, isn't she? Twice a grand final, player of the final, 5-time team of the year. Don't know her chances for this year, but she was in the top half dozen hitters for the comp, so why not throw her name around?
She's had a great year.
You talk about the finals caliber of her, and you go back just to Wednesday night where it was a situation for Walkerville. They needed to win to finish top 2, get in the double chance game, and finish as minor premiers. Had they lost, they would have been playing in that elimination final versus, turns out, Steph Trzynski was looking in mighty good form. It would have been a very tough task, but who was the player that had 2 hits? Who had the winning run driven in? It was Sophie King. That's who you look to in the middle of the defense as we turn over the lineup. It is Bree Lint, you see, take the field for the Seacombe Tigers, but the big one for me was the question all week was who would be starting this game. 2 very good options for the Seacombe Tigers. I'm sure we'll see both pitchers in the game, but they're going with Whitney Shepherd in the circle today, a woman that had an 0.89 ERA in her 59 innings pitched. Regan Diaz started most of the games this year. She's at second. There she is on screen. James, do you like that call, going Whitney Shepherd as the starter?
I've been watching the live stream from home, looking after the young guy, and I've been waiting to see her because I know she's been leading the league in ERA, and I'm wondering what's happening. Where is she? Why are they hiding her? And it's for this reason. This reason right here, to put her in the biggest game of their season.
Yeah, part of me thinks some of it is, of course, of the fact that they haven't seen a lot of her, so it's a different look. She's got a completely different action, whereas Reagan stand and deliver. Whitney obviously drops into her action and then lifts back up. I also reckon Reagan's got a yard on her too, and so I think the idea of maybe just trying to quicken up the hands late in the game.
So Whitney Shepherd steps in the circle. She'll go against Bailey Lukes to lead things off. It's a Seacombe team that has built up a little bit of a fortress in terms of their defensive abilities.
Wow.
And a first pitch swing.
Wow.
It's back to the wall. It's off the top of it. Bailey Lukes goes crazy and launches one off the top of the wall, and it's a stand-up triple against the competition's ERA leader.
I love that. First pitch swinging. I love it. It's something that I'm very passionate about. Every pitcher wants to start off on a good note. They're going to throw it down the middle in a big game. She just come up firing.
If you're going to signal some intent, might as well do it first pitch. The danger now for the Tigers is King can do anything at the plate. Havas is shallow already, but King can do the same thing, or she could bunt. Game on.
Sophie King finishing in the top 4 in terms of batting average this year. And as much as we talk about Taylor Caudill being a big piece and maybe the important piece for Walkerville, having Sophie King play second all season and Chelsea Robinson play shortstop all season. King missed half the year last year due to work commitments as a paramedic. And Chelsea Robinson became a mum. So having those two back in the middle,
pretty handy recruits.
that might help. Sophie King saying after the game she's just really been having fun enjoying her softball this year.
Yeah, Neely Peterson's the one that's transformed the Tigers' defence behind the plate. Just obviously the command that she's got there, and obviously her experience. She's going to need to use every bit of it now, none out. And then obviously you got the class of Robertson to follow, and then the RBIs of Smith, and then Mason to come.
Well, Weathers, it's been over 4 months since Seacombe has allowed more than 2 runs in a game. November 16th was the last time they allowed more than 2 runs.
Insane.
This team is being pretty automatic. They sometimes have struggled scoring runs, though. That's been their issue, although they've scored 34 runs in their last 5 games.
Yeah, and head-to-head against Walkerville, they've scored... they've been outscored 10-5, but they've got a 2-2 record. And at night games, they're 1-1 this year, and the runs for and against is 2-3 in favour of Seacombe.
Advantage Tigers that they've got a bullpen that they can go to, which they trust in the sense that they've used it all year. Smith hasn't thrown much for the Cats in the A grade. That being said, I would say that Seacombe seem to just hang in. And because the runs are so low, a lot of those games they've been able to run over the top of at the end. It's not like they've taken a couple of innings to chase that run, but they get there. And so you can never really count them out.
Good battle between King and Shepherd here after it took 1 pitch for Bailey Lukes to stand on third. Sophie King is going deep in the count. And now it's evened up.
Just to clarify, Seacombe's win in that night game was played at Playford as well at the Central District Softball Association.
Yeah. Good point.
On full grass field.
Making Shepherd work. Sophie King cracks one to third. She's going to battle her way back. The throw across the diamond. She was off the bag. So Sophie King will stand safe at first. Bailey Lukes had to slide her way back. It could have been potentially a run, but probably everything played out as it should.
It was good for Mossman to trap it like that. She's still got the throw across, but King's always going to add that offensive pressure with her speed. Looks like she probably would have even beaten it out. Difference between Port Adelaide, Walkerville running right then. Port Adelaide's running every day of the week.
Port Adelaide just won a game by stealing home to advance to the preliminary finals.
Gee, there's a lot happening in this game early, I tell you that. So obviously they've played a shallow set play there. When King goes, Diaz has run at the pitcher and Neely's throws just come up on the bounce. But I'll just something I saw just before I wanted to mention about Becky Havis. I will in a sec.
Chelsea Robinson knocks one to left field. One run is in. A second one should score. There won't be a play. And with no outs recorded, Walkerville have stunned Seacombe for 2.
Just blasted that shot out to left field. Chelsea Robinson of old right there. Well, not that she's old. She's still in her 20s.
No, met the little tacker today. So, yeah, but that's the class of Robinson, though. That's what I was going to say about Havis before, that play where King had run up the line. Havis left the base, so she was super conscious about making sure that she had to not lose the ball with the runner at third, and then she turned inside and attacked the base at third. Havis is switched on, which is a really good sign for the Tigers. So, but then if you're going to hit like that, it's going to be difficult. Smith loves to lift the ball. Would have seen plenty of Shepherd in the B grade too.
Yeah, both these players playing in the B grade. Walkerville, though, falling today in that elimination final.
Yeah, both of them in the B grade medal count tomorrow night.
Swings hard. Whitney Shepherd entered the game with an ERA of under 1.
Yep. Caudle just brought it back to .99 at the end of the game on Wednesday night. So she beat her in ERA, but the rest of Taylor's stats are pretty good. Now she's got something to throw against.
Now she's got a lead to work with. Both these teams have an amazing record when they score more than 2 runs in a game. Walkerville is 10-1-1. Seacombe is 10-1. So it's very much a race to 3 statistically, and already Walkerville are on the precipice of that. This one straight up in the air.
Just missed.
Diaz makes the play, 1 down.
I spoke to Eric earlier this morning and said it's going to be low scoring. When these two teams come up against each other, it's generally low scoring. There was one blowout, I think, but yeah, Walkerville's just come out firing. Ellie Smith just missed that one. Looking forward to see how she progresses through this game because she's been responsible for some massive numbers offensively for Walkerville.
Sophie Roberts has also delivered in some pretty big moments for Walkerville.
She's been around for such a long time, you forget that she's only mid-20s.
Trying to check the runner. Neely Peterson isn't afraid to let it rip from the catching position.
Yeah, just from a catcher's perspective, you're going to try and take on a runner like Chelsea Robinson. She's going to want to take advantage of any mistake, so she's going to take a big lead off. But Roberts just put together such an impressive resume at a young age. She went to a junior women's worlds in a junior Aussie team. Couple of Gilly Shields to her name. She went over and played the one season of that SummerSlam, fully loaded SummerSlam, and just such a respected player for a youngster. Just out of 23s, I think.
Interesting change to the Walkerville lineup here too. Roberts, who's been batting 6 or 7 as much as recently. Mason's the one that's been in the 5 spot. Roberts has been brought up. Obviously backing her experience here. But yeah, Peterson, you're right, James. Obviously Chelsea's an absolute class player, but Peterson, we did this last year. You'd run on Seacombe every opportunity you could because, there was a contest.
Yeah.
Not now. She's just her movement around the plate, her calling. Just listening to the broadcast on Wednesday night, or just listening to the way that she thinks. And when you're an athlete like she is, that's got the weaponry, you can see why she's had success in the States. looking forward to seeing how she rises in a final series here in Adelaide.
Big strikeout for Whitney Shepherd, who settled down a little bit after going bang, bang, bang to start the game. Gets Smith and now Roberts.
Anthony, spot on with Peterson. She did it for the Stars during the Gilly Shield as well. I think she went into the Christmas break with 4 hits in the Premier League.
And now she's got that confidence now after that championship.
Well, she doubled that hit number in 1 week at the Gilly Shield against, international pitchers.
International pitchers, 100%.
We talked to Neely about that on the broadcast on Wednesday, and she talked about how it was a bit of an adjustment for her coming here and only playing sometimes once a week and not getting that regular feel of the game. And then when she got to play every game, she caught every inning, and there's a throw, and it's a great throw. And she got under a great slide, though, too, from Chelsea Robinson. But she talked about Neely Peterson as you see the Sporties replay.
She even had time to pump that.
She did.
That's how, that is a weapon. But I think Mutzi's just come, well done, Dave.
Yeah, great call from Dave Brovnik, premiership men's player, believe it or not, and with Glenelg Rebels. Robinson, though,
or
perfect slide.
Robinson, yeah. But Peterson, on that note, though, she talked about how that national championships got her back into a bit more of a mode that she's used to with softball. It's playing often. It's playing a lot of games. She caught every inning of that national championship, and then she came back to the competition, and she said it just kind of renewed her fire for the game.
Them up.
And there's a ground out. The ball pops out, and then a wobbly step on the base. That was a what was that?
3 to 4.
That was weird. Was exactly the way you would describe that.
Just see there in the Sporty Bar replay, Becky's glove hand. The ball comes over there, but she's run in and knocked it over, and Reagan's picked up the four put out.
But Walkerville didn't have to wait long to give their star starting pitcher Taylor Cottle a 2-run lead after we just saw Cottle do something I can't remember the last time she's gone an inning without getting a strikeout.
Yeah, good point. That's a very positive start for the Tigers to not give Cottle a strikeout, but gee, the offense have done their job to give her 2. When was the last time she gave up a 2-run lead?
She did, yeah. That just doesn't really happen much. The awards, though, coming up tomorrow. Weathers, it should be a pretty fun night.
Very exciting. We got some special. We got some things up our sleeve that we can. We'll keep them surprises for those that get along there tomorrow night. But Arkabar just after 6, be seated, and first lot of junior awards, some recognition of a great man who's just finished up in the sport, and obviously the ability to go there and have a look at the best of the Premier League players and dissect their seasons and see who's actually reached the pinnacles.
Now, I'm assuming that the 11 players listed there was a tie somewhere in there, which pushes it to a top 10.
Yep.
But within the top 10 votes, you've got Taylor Cottle, who is up for the Calf Coral for Walkerville. And on Seacombe, it could be anyone of Peterson, Havis, or Diaz polling highly as well. Pitching, it's a battle between these two pitchers, Whitney Shepherd for Seacombe, and for the Laurie Brown Award, this woman, Taylor Cottle, who delivers a pitch. Golden Glove, potentially, for Georgia Mason, a finalist on that.
And didn't she demonstrate that on Wednesday night, that she doesn't even need a glove to catch the ball?
Hands. She doesn't need a Golden Glove.
Yeah, so you should see the calculation for the Golden Glove. It's insane.
Well, Georgia Mason's in the mix, is all we know, and we can find out tomorrow. Whitney Shepherd hasn't always hit, but she's hitting .323 when she's in the lineup. She's been pretty punchy. Yeah,
she did some great stuff at the under-23s for up in Queensland for the state team for SA, which was great. But she's been consistent all year. B grade numbers pretty much the same actually as the A grade, but used sparingly. She probably not getting that routine like you were talking about with Neely, in the sense that that championship week, of course, Whitney's championship week went into Christmas, and then she didn't play for a month because of the break. So, but still, she's been a revelation for the Tigers.
Tigers team that's won 5 in a row entering the finals. They are the in-form team.
Just missing
8-3 since Christmas, the Tigers are. Clinching their first finals in some time. Outscoring opponents 37-3 over those 5 games.
Couple of blowouts against non-finalist teams.
What a great pitch. That is a killer change. The only thing you can hear different is the sound. It was just you can hear the knock against the legs is the only giveaway that that's happened, because the glove has already hit the leg, whereas traditionally it hasn't. That's the only giveaway, and that's not enough time to do anything.
Yeah, the reaction time you have in this sport is a fraction of a fraction, it feels like.
Yeah, it's quicker than Major League Baseball.
A combination of pace and distance make it extremely hard to hit this ball. Abby Mossman.
Solid contributor for the Tigers.
This is the part of the lineup with a lot of these young players, this core that the Tigers have built around since getting back into the Premier League. They're the ones that are getting this first finals experience in the ASA.
It's a big jump from 5th to 2nd, considering the quality around them. And the trick here, of course, is that, you know, in finals, obviously not making mistakes is pretty crucial. So for a player of Taylor's, you know, power, she doesn't want to be throwing walks against the lower half of the lineup and then having the top of the line come back with those base running opportunities. That can be a very risky way to play. Goes back to what she knows, up above the letters.
Mossman's been on a journey. It's her 3rd Premier League club. Started at Sturt, part of the Sturt factory. Before moving to Port Adelaide, played some junior state teams. Was in the Dragons program, I reckon. Before finding a home at Seacombe, fouled that one off, but works, I think. So not available every game.
Yeah, difficult, obviously work schedule, but she locks their defence in the sense that, be it second base, be it third base, they're those 2 spots that Seacombe just naturally haven't been able to fill. And Tompkinson does a great job at second, but obviously when you've got somebody like Reagan who's not pitching.
Reagan can play anywhere.
She can. Don't think I've ever seen a player like that. I mean, obviously we've been lucky to see the talented people like the Bell Whites, who athletically and power, but there's just something about Reagan and speed and everything else. And she's such a great person too. That's the other thing not to forget. So is Bell, just interestingly enough.
The dugout try to clap her in. And a strikeout. There's 2 in a row for Taylor Cottle.
And the first thing he said at the start of the innings was...
Yeah,
no strikeouts.
Went 1 inning without a strikeout and the world was freaking out, or at least my world. Hannah Cameron, she's put together a nice season too. She's one of 3 that could be winning the Rookie of the Year for this competition.
Speaking of the Belinda White Trophy.
Speaking of Belinda White, yeah, that's what it's called. And she has locked down center field for the Tigers all year long.
I can give you a peek behind the curtain too. We've got a very special presenter filling in for Belinda White tomorrow night, because obviously with her baby, her first baby due, she won't be in attendance, but the great man Kevin Tannenbring is honoured to be passing that award on Belinda's behalf.
Could it be Hannah Cameron? We'll know tomorrow.
Well, she's one of the 3.
Who are the other 2?
Talia Sutton and Sky Vilmard from the Hills.
I hope Talia Sutton
Hills
is
via
okay.
Port Pirie.
Yes.
Talia Sutton, West Torrens via Gawler.
Talia Sutton took a line drive off the hand today in that B grade final.
Absolutely brutal.
Was on her way to the hospital by the time the game started. You really hope that she's okay. It's been a great year and a great inning though for Taylor Cottle, who goes 1, 2, 3 with the strikeouts. and she's right back up to her normal tricks. And you got to think, though, as a pitcher, how much more relaxed do you start to feel knowing you're in the finals, knowing that it's probably going to be a low-scoring game, you have a couple runs up your sleeve? Do you sometimes relax in a positive way, that the pressure's kind of gone a little bit?
The pitchers that I know, and in the big games that they've played, the exceptional pitchers are like ice anyway.
Yeah,
right?
fair.
Like, you never see emotion. And they're so good for a reason. They've got to this point in their career because of the hours that they've put in, the training, the wanting to get better and better every single year, every time they play. Caudle is as professional as they come. And like I said, she's like stone out there and no emotion. So I don't think any of the pitchers that have played in the final series will let emotion get to them, or the pressure.
You want a pitcher's duel. I mean, earlier today we had the elimination final between West Torrens and Port Adelaide. That game went extra innings. It was 1-1 after 7, the regulation time. Both runs were scored off of throwing errors, and the pitchers, Steph Drzezinski for West Torrens and Liz Engler for Port Adelaide, put on a show. Engler allowed just 4 base runners in that 7 innings, and Steph Drzezinski, who hadn't really pitched in over a month because of a hamstring injury, who was clearly battling through some physical discomfort, was sensational with 11 strikeouts in the game, and she gave her team every single opportunity to win that game.
I think Steph has shown this side of Christmas that even at half strength, she's quite dominant, and I think these two sides breathed a sigh of relief when they saw that Port Adelaide got over the line because of Steph's dominance that she'd shown. Has a win against each of the 3 teams this year, shutting 2 of them out, and the only 1 run came in another one of those games. So she'll be back, surely. Add to that team next year. I'm sure Jay Harris will be part of the lineup again next year. And
handy recruit.
And maybe we saw a preview of another player who played 1 game just before Christmas as well, joining that lineup when she finishes her college career.
The Hood sisters is something to be very, very concerned about if you're an opposition team in the Premier League.
They'll be back. They will be back. But Steph, that was a gutsy effort from Steph. But what was impressive for me in that game was Steph, 11 strikeouts. Again, the run was scored on throwing error. So if you're the opposition pitcher in Liz Engler, who had just come off a game where they allowed 14 runs versus Glenelg heading into the finals, going against one of the best we've ever seen in South Australia, Liz Engler stood firm and only allowed 4 base runners and helped her team win that game. It was a gutsy effort from both of those pitchers.
She was great, wasn't she?
Yeah.
And for Liz, I don't know her personally, but you could almost feel that there was a little bit of payback from last year. She gave up 18 runs in 10 innings against West Torrens in the final series last year, and she showed them tonight by, like you said, 4 base runners or something.
She was emotional after the game.
Yep.
You could tell that on her face. She just kept saying, "I'm just so fired up. I'm so happy. You could tell she was on a mission. It was fun to watch.
2nd year in a row that the elimination final went extras.
And a strikeout from Whitney Shepherd, who's now retired 4 straight after giving up 3 in a row and 2 runs to start the game.
92.3% of the total pitches thrown last year for the Magpies, and so she had to do all the work herself.
Yeah.
This year she had Geldof there as backup. She had some calf issues before Christmas, couldn't really ever get settled, but that win's going to do wonders for her confidence. That 14-5 game was that was just out of nowhere. I mean,
it was 39-degree heat too.
Granted, and Nats had just about to retire from coaching Glenelg, so there was a bit of emotion into it. But yeah, it was a tough day, and then to bounce back, and you had to bounce back against that. Both pitchers would have walked off the diamond today saying, "Hey, listen, I've done my part."
Nat Brinkworth, who was on the call in that game, said it very well when it comes to pitching strategy in these finals games when you have 2 pitchers up your sleeve. And I wonder if what she was saying for Port Adelaide is true for Seacombe in this game, as Shepherd gets another player to chase. And that was saying that with regards to Engler and Geldof, it's always great as a coach to have a pitcher up your sleeve. It's even better when you don't have to use them. Basically meaning that if your starter is grooving and gives you no reason to go to it, it means that you're in a pretty good spot.
I was lucky enough to have one of the greats in Mel Roberts, who was a sensation, or Dr. Roberts. She's just a great person, great player all around. And I remember in one of our final series, she always used to mark herself really hard.
Aaron Stone cracks one up the middle, a diving effort from Regan Diaz, and it's a base runner to break up a run of 5 straight.
And I remember that she had to come into one of those games and she got rattled early, and Caitlin Tobin, or now Caitlin Burks from Sturt, I remember she came in and she only threw an innings and a half. And Mel then came back in after that little reset period and then just blew them away for the rest of it. And that's the beauty and the luxury if you have those types of setups that allow you to make those decisions in big games. And, we were very fortunate. And I think both teams, Smith's already thrown in her final today. So, I mean, Reagan and Whitney are going to be fresher from that perspective. But Caudle's just a completely different level. So
Mel Roberts, if you didn't know, Eric, Cath gold medalist, 5 or 6 premierships with West Torrens.
Oh, more than that.
More than that?
Oh, yeah. It was,
and the rest,
yep.
6-time Team of the Year pitcher.
Yep. Oh, how you doing?
Yeah.
Bailey Lukes, though, speaking of some dangerous players, had a triple off the wall to straightaway center pretty much in her first at-bat. That helps score that early run for Walkerville, and she faces Shepard again here, and she goes after a pitch. It's straight up in the air. Neely Peterson against the fence. Oh, wow. Wall. Did she catch it?
That's best off the fence. It was you can hear audible off the pole.
Havis still made the play, though. So it won't be an out, but that is a great catch regardless from Havis. An athletic play when there didn't even need to be one.
That's a great replay, boys. Peterson fully committed, focused, 100%. Hits the pole on the top. Nothing she can do about that. And then Becky Havis never out of the action.
And now they're going to do it again. It's a pop-up. Take 2 for Peterson, and again off the wall. Shows you what kind of competitor Becky Havis is, though, charging in to try to make that play.
Lux chasing up here. Very aggressive at the moment. Aaron Stone, who's had a breakout year for the Cats, has genuine wheels.
It was on the tip of my tongue.
Sorry.
Before the foul balls, Anthony. So you're right on point that Aaron Stone, you go back 4 or 5 pitches ago, she's ending the season as strong as she started.
Great handy number 9 batter to have, and now goes Stone again. There's the throw, and she's out. Neely Peterson walking off as cool as you like, and that is a big-time throw and tag.
This is a setup pitch right here, up and out, because she had gone on the pitch the previous 2 pitches. She knew that was coming, and she was stone cold.
That's good softball all round, and for those at home, you've got 2 out, you've come back to the top of your lineup, so there's an argument to make the risk that you steal your number 9. If she gets on and she's safe, it's a bonus, and the top of your lineup gets a chance to hit a run in. If she gets out, then the player that was at the top of your lineup gets to start again. So for those at home, that's the thought about it. So
I love the walk-off from Neely Peterson doing the kind of cool guys don't look at explosions sort of way. Like, just zip her down.
She, as James said, that first one she got, it was just, Robertson got in under it. So she's technically 2 for 2, even though the stats show otherwise. But she's a weapon.
Mutsi, Tompkinson, and Diaz due up here for the Seacombe Tigers. We played 2 innings so far. All the scoring came basically on an ambush in the bottom of that first innings, with Lukes, King, and Robinson all hitting the balls fairly hard. Robinson with a 2 RBI single to lead things off for Walkerville, and that's where we're at in the 2-0 game so far.
One of the hardest at-bats tonight is going to be this lead-off here for Mutsi, because obviously the Cats have already got an early jump. Caudle doesn't throw any strikeouts in the first, blows the next 3 away with strikeouts in the second. Now Mutsi comes up, Tompkinson behind her, but then it's to the top of the line. If she can find a way to get herself on and try and help the Tigers build some momentum, so they need a base runner. It's not going to be easy against Caudle because first pitch strikes are 60% plus. She's going to attack you, so she's going to have to do a little bit of what Bailey Lux did to them.
Walkerville had a bit of a patchy stretch for 2 weeks in February.
Good go. She got after it. That's good. Good aggressiveness.
They had won 1 game in a 4-game stretch, but since then they are 3-0-1. It was a tie versus Glenelg, and then 7-0 versus West Torrens, 3-2 versus Port Adelaide, and 2-0 versus Glenelg. Obviously, Port Adelaide and West Torrens are finals teams, and Glenelg were one of the best teams in the second half. So even though Glenelg missed the finals, it's a big win late in the season. That was on Wednesday night just to clinch the spot in this game.
Yeah, they dropped just a couple of games that probably weren't expected as well. They dropped to Port Adelaide by a run just before Christmas as well. So just that transition over that break didn't do them any favours, but you know, they're still good enough to take the minor premiers. So they had games up their sleeve to be able to drop here and there, try something new and get their lineup settled. So I'm absolutely certain that none of those losses phased them at all, and they never lost big either.
Well, 1-run games you see so often in finals. We just saw one in the elimination final, but Walkerville are 5-1-2 in games decided by 1 run or less this year. It is the top mark in 1-run games in the competition. You got to know how to win them tight if you want to win a premiership.
You're okay, Brandon. We got you. We got you.
I can see Brandon's upgraded his little bunker.
Yeah, unfortunately the previous shelter with the recent weather did not survive.
David's going to have to upgrade. Award-winning David Muggleton.
Mutsi down the line. It's a base hit and a leadoff runner. Hit it where they ain't. And Sasha Mutsi just guides that ball down the left field line.
Fell behind in the count, chased up on the second strike, and after she put one on the Caudle put one on the ground, she just had to find a way. I mean, she's the sub 200 numbers for the year, but she just had to find a way. Now Coach Benedictson gets Tompkinson in an advancing situation, followed by Diaz, followed by Lint, followed by Peterson. Tigers' opportunity right here to bounce back.
Tompkinson, bunt up in the air. And how many times have you heard Lee Hole talk about showing that bunt on the first pitch?
Got to be better at the top of the zone too.
Yeah, the youngster had her hands in the right place.
Did everything right.
Yeah, didn't look like she did too much wrong.
No.
Just go back to Smith. She's playing inside the line, but she's playing about 5 or 6 steps off the line, off the foul line. And for me, she's not able to cover that line from there. If you're going to be that far inside the diamond, you need to be back, at least on the line or behind it. I know she was trying to cover for bunt as well, but you've got to be 1 step closer to the line as well so you can stop anything that's railing the line.
Regan Diaz.
Very aggressive tonight.
Well, when you throw hard, balls can get hit hard too. And Regan Diaz has...
Mutsi proved that. She only just turned around on it. The ball flew off the bat, but somebody with Regan's hand speed far out. Those two things make connections. We could be back on the fence.
She's got a grip split as well.
She's been batting that way since Nationals. I've just noticed. And she's also, when you watch her and you go back and you look at the tape before Christmas, she just stands and it's just a very light step. Like there's no preamble. It's just standing there. So I don't know what's the trigger to the change, but
Is that top hand then? Is she hitting top hand?
Well, not
with
only
a split group like that.
Yeah, well, not only have her numbers gone up about 30 points, but her pitching, you know, as I said, I reckon she's gained a yard. So I don't know what happened in December and January or who's spoken to her, but I didn't know she could keep on getting better, but she still is. It's working for her.
Down the line again, and it's a good pickup. Throw across the diamond. Diaz gets there with ease. She can fly on the base pass, and there's 2 runners aboard.
If you're playing the averages, Ellie Smith is thinking, what's going on? They're hitting down the line. She might move a little closer to the line here. You're not going to beat Diaz. She's quick. Runner advances as well.
But this is it. This is what we were just talking about before. It's 1 out. You've got runners on now, so you've got the time run at first. Lint. But it's Peterson on deck is the terror.
Lint has already had a hit in the game today. Neely Peterson, if all goes according to, well, if something doesn't go seriously wrong, Neely Peterson will have an at-bat with a runner in scoring position.
Interested, James, from a calling perspective, you've just had 2 players sort of not clearly hit the ball down the third base line, and you've got a player that's throwing rockets in the middle. I mean, are you changing to the outside edge of the plate? Because obviously she's attacking. She's attacking the inside part of that plate.
Well, Corder's got 224 strikeouts plus, handful tonight from jamming these batters, going hard and in, hard and up, down and in. She owns that inside of the plate. I don't know if she'd want to change that recipe right now in an elimination game. However, I love that outside edge.
Oh, wow.
Well, she can mix it around, though, can't she?
Yeah, when needed. But Anthony, you're spot on. If you're getting hit on the inside, it means that they've scouted you really well. So you've obviously done some homework there as well. You've picked that up, and I think that Seacombe might be able to score on this now.
This is what you've come down to West Beach to watch right now, right here. This is it.
Caudle versus Peterson, 2 absolute stars of the game and 2 teammates coming up in Italy in April. Yeah. They'll be playing together at Serrano. Good luck, everybody
good
else.
Luck. Yeah.
Imagine that battery.
Yeah, it does wonders for your relationship.
But right now, they're going head-to-head.
Might have been a bit too close for comfort. I think Peterson's seeing 2 in a row there now.
Well, the fact you were talking before about pitchers giving away nothing emotionally, I mean, there's nothing there on Peterson either in the way that she's approached this at-bat so far.
Inside again.
Turns on it.
That's 3. The last 3 batters have all pulled the ball, and none of them have got it cleanly. I mean, Mutzi got on, don't get me wrong, and Smith wasn't able to make the play, but...
all jammed, top of the handle, bottom of the barrel, whatever you want to call it, and they've just found the slightest of gaps, haven't they? Petersons have gone foul.
She's thrown 2 pitches and 2 change-ups in about, 30 pitches so far?
Well, Peterson is made for magnitude as that one is fouled away. In this last college playoff cycle, playing in the ASA conference for Florida Gulf Coast University,
Michael King.
Peterson hit a walk-off home run to win the quarterfinal game, it might have been, or it was a playoff game. And she led the tournament in hits during that sequence. She was the All-Sun Catcher of the Year.
Not going to die wondering. You hear a lot of coaches when you're behind in the count just choke up the grip a little bit, two-stroke adjustment, but it's been all power so far.
But you're an experienced catcher, James. I'd love to know what you're thinking right now. I mean, I'm imagining Jared Farrell throwing to you, and one of the gun hitters in the Australian competition is there. I mean, you've attacked the inside. You've had 4 fouls now. You've only cleanly hit 2 of them. At what stage do you change it up?
Wow, well, I've been caught since that last game at Nationals.
That's the off speed.
Nothing on the outside yet, which I'm surprised about. It's few fouls and 1 ball, so it's at least 6 pitches in. Everything's been inside, Anthony. They've either got a book on her to say that she's got nothing when it's on the inside, foul it at worst.
Well, the other thing too is when you look at Caudle's massive strikeouts, she's done it to 3 catches too. Lux, Roberts and Robinson.
Yeah.
So she hasn't had 24 games with any one of them.
We'll go again. And again, for the 5th straight time, it's a foul down the left field line, attacking in. This is an almighty battle between Caudle and Peterson.
Well, the runners are the scary part, because if she does get on and hits the grass, there's a very good chance that it's at least going to be 1 run back and looking at 2. So that's part of it. But I think mentally the important part here is whoever wins this competition right now is going to set a long, big tone for the rest of the game.
In the battle, good chance to win the war. I'd throw something different, something low, maybe something way up and out of the zone.
Like you're thinking.
Can't just keep on doing this though. That's the fear, because she's had 6 or 7 chances now. Every time she stands and swings at the plate, the odds go in her favour versus Caudle. Caudle's got to go to the outside.
Yeah, get out of the zone, because if you miss right now, Peterson's just had a BP and she will annihilate the ball. Get it out of the zone.
Pitch number 9 in an epic tussle.
It's going to go in.
Down the line, and it stays fair.
Right there.
They're going to send the runner. There's a play down the line. There won't be a throw, and Neely Peterson wins the battle and puts the Tigers on the board.
She's just got that knack. The Tigers have just got that knack of never going away, even though it's early. But Kat's stuck with that plan all the way. Roberts probably fielding in a position that she's not, accustomed to, playing out at left field. I mean, she's got a good arm, but wow. Now it doesn't. It's still 2 out, but now you've got Havis at the plate and Shepherd to follow.
And Havis has been playing really well the last 2 weeks.
Got a pinch runner in for Peterson at 2.
You can get a courtesy runner for Peterson.
Pash, I think.
27, Bianca Pash.
Havis has some confidence about her always when she's standing in that batter's box.
Be interesting to see how Caudle reacts to this now, because she wasn't that ball fell in front of Roberts. She didn't get all of it, so
Havis to the right side, but Sophie King guides it into her glove. That's some steady work by the veteran, and it is still a 2-1 game, but Neely Peterson cashes in the first run of the finals for Seacombe.
It's a break to her left, and it is glove side, but the ball tails away from a right-handed hitter. It goes to the opposite field, and she read it really well, low to the ground, but no mistake.
And they will bat again, those 2 in this lineup.
I'll look over at our neighbors to the right. Grand final going on. It's the partner of Liz Engler pitching in that game over on the baseball field. It's always a festive Saturday down here, but next weekend it's all softball grand finals with the C's, the B's, the D's, the A's. Everybody. You're playing in the grand final. You're going to be here on Saturday, and the forecast looking incredible as well.
How good are you, Anthony? I'm going to test you. Who's in the grand finals for the B grade?
Yeah, look, Walkerville finished top and then go out in straight sets. I never thought that was going to happen. And Seacombe, who hadn't touched Walkerville all season, get him in that first final, and it's amazing what happens when you go through in the qualifying final. So that'll be Sturt and West Torrens, which will be a big one. Seacombe and West Torrens, sorry. So, yeah, that'll be a big game.
C grade have got Sturt in. D grade West Torrens are in. I don't know who the winners were today. They'll play against them.
I will get on that for you right now.
You're good, mate.
I've been too busy running around putting out fires everywhere today.
Yeah, it's about the busiest day of the year you get down
And I do
here.
want to quickly just say thank you to Seacombe in Kylie, Kathy Pash, Kathy's mum, a couple of those, letting me actually come out here and do this with you guys tonight. It means a lot. Oh, what the?
Just slipped out of her hands?
Yeah, but what happens when you get hit by a 100k softball and then just run up the first baseline? Like,
Sporty's replay. Oh, in the abdomen as well. She's
that's going to leave a mark, I think.
She just wore it as well, like just barely a flinch.
Oh yeah, like.
Well, it's a leadoff runner, and now you have Sophie King and Chelsea Robinson. These three all reached and scored the pair of runs for Walkerville in the bottom of the first inning.
Cats are 1 and 2 so far behind with the base runners, so they've sent Bailey and before. I'm not entirely sure at the top of the line I'd be stealing at this stage. I'd be doing that.
Well, that bunt, it wouldn't offer body, I think.
Off the body, yeah. While she's in the box.
I would be making sure that we can try and get a runner in scoring position, or preferably even a couple of runners on would be very, very handy, and let Robinson's good form continue, and then Smith, who just missed on her shot, try and put some pressure back on the Tigers, who seem to have gathered a little bit of momentum on the back of Peterson's hit.
She's going to do it again. Bunts it right back to the pitcher. They'll make the easy play, and that's just team softball played by Sophie King, who's one of the top batters of the competition this year.
Yeah, she's one of the best at putting them down. I don't think she'll be too happy with that one, actually, going straight back to the pitcher. Just the ever-reliable team player, though, advancing that runner into scoring position for your 3-4 hitters, who are absolute stars of this game.
Chelsea Robinson has accounted for that 2 that you see on the Walkerville scoreboard at the bottom of your screen. And she might account for another one. Runner is getting the rave around home. It was a late stop sign. It doesn't matter because Chelsea Robinson is 2 for 2 with 3 RBIs.
Bailey Lux, that is just a great effort. I mean, obviously class shot by Robinson to have 2, but that's why you're batting in the 3 spot, which is, that's the place. Lynn throws the ball in and then just off the relay.
Great shot from Robinson in the karaoke, as Mel McGee would say. Lux didn't get a great jump off the base, but she didn't hold up as she turned third, and well, the run counts. Didn't look pretty.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. She's had a big night so far. She is influencing this game. She's scored 2 of their 3 runs. She's put the ball onto the fence on a bounce, and probably other than maybe staying inside on the pitch count with Peterson 1 too often, she's been pretty good behind the plate.
Ellie Smith crushes one to deep left field, and it's off the top of the wall. A run is going to score. Smith will stand up at 2, and it's 4-1. And it's a firing squad for the Walkerville Cats.
Wow.
She thought it was gone. She was celebrating halfway at the line, the finger out as well. Have a look on the Sporties replay. It was a moonshot, but it just held up.
Yeah. Just well, that first one she just missed. You know, she just got caught under it and got caught in a shallow fly in the infield. And that one she was able to meet right out in front. And
well, I love that.
That's good.
She's got the Bruce Bolt batting glove as well. I got myself a set just before Christmas. They are magnificent. She looks the part and she's celebrating, but she scored a run for her team, and Walkerville just blowing this game open a bit. They're going to be hard to beat.
Well, what's crazy is I predicted this in a complete opposite way. If you listen to a couple of the streams where I said, look, we got 2 teams that have allowed a lot of runs lately in Walkerville and Port Adelaide, so the book says that game's going to be a bit of a high-scoring 6-5 game. And we've got the 2 best defensive teams and the lowest ERAs going head-to-head in the other game. That'll be the low-scoring one, so the softball gods will just play the reverse Uno card because it's what they do, because they're vicious. And that game was a 1-1 game with no earned runs through 7 innings, and we're in the 3rd, and there's already 5 across the plate from teams that allow less than 2
Right
combined. And now there'll be another run on the board. It's a hard turn from Smith. There won't be a play. It's a 5 spot for Walkerville.
So what I wanted to say before, which was that, as you see here in the Sporty Bar replay, going down looking in her last at-bat is, going down swinging in her last at-bat on a change was Roberts. This time attacks the first pitch, meets it out in front, drives it up the middle. Was that it was going to be interesting to see how the Cats reacted to the Tigers getting that first run, because Coach Benedictson can walk into the dugout now and say, hey, listen, we've scored one, so she's not unhittable, right? We can score, now let's push. And then the Cats have just come out and just gone bang, bang. And even Mayer's now after it.
Mayer towards center field, and there is the second out, but how damaging have that top 5 been in the lineup for Walkerville? Bailey Lukes has the triple, hit by pitch, she scored twice. Sophie King put a ball in play, stole a base, scored. She did a sacrifice bunt. Chelsea Robinson 2 for 2 with 3 RBIs. Ellie Smith an RBI. Sophie Roberts an RBI.
I'm looking to my left at the statisticians. Has all that happened in 8 pitches in this inning? It's just been rapid fire.
They've attacked early, haven't they?
Jesse, how many pitches in this inning so far? We'll get to that one in a moment.
Georgia Mason
went down looking in that first at-bat, so needs 11. To be engaged here.
11 pitches in an inning, and 3 runs have come across the plate.
It's the 6th batter. There's been 3 hits, a hit by pitch and a sacrifice bunt. It's all happened.
Good.
Well, Georgia Mason would be in a short list if there was an award for, your breakout player of the year, or the, I don't know, in the NBA you call it the most improved, or the, she is being remarkably consistent with the bat. She's played some great defense at first.
Ball in the box. She's had some terrific influence around her this season as well. You've got 3 Kath Coral medals between your 2 coaches. Her state coach is one of the game record holder of this competition, who's been a legend of this sport with more than double-digit premierships in Carindale. And
a big strikeout from Whitney Shepherd ends the inning.
I was just
about the softball guys before.
Yeah, I was just about to. Look, I'll take the bullet for you, James, because I was just about to say the same thing. Much improved, and can't get rung up twice in a qualifying final. But the thing that's hard to remember about her is that she's 17. Like we're talking about her like she's played in the college system and she's played 75 games in a calendar year. But to be a young kid who had a really good under-18 nationals, and as James said, has got some of the best people around her. Her game is evolving all the time, but these big games against good pitching, it's tough.
Well, it's the Becky Havis endorsed Happy Lapcos.
And Sasha.
I'm really looking forward to seeing what rebates coming back to us from Happy Lap. They're getting a lot of airtime.
Yeah, it's very good. It's very good. So, no, we're just trying to help those out within our community that are trying to help us, and we appreciate that.
Yeah, those will be I need one for next weekend, I think.
Yeah.
Tonight would have been good too.
That's exactly. Kylie was up in the hills last night at a Nembo for the Hills finals, and she goes, I had it in my bag. What am I doing? So, they're very, very good. Get on them. So,
Whitney Shepherd, Abby Mossman, and Hannah Cameron, the bottom half of the lineup, becomes a difficult task. You sort of alluded to it before, James, about how, it's hard enough to score against Taylor Cottle, who has a less than 1 ERA. Both these pitchers, by the way, had a less than 1 ERA entering this game. There's been 6 runs combined, but Cottle's only allowed 1 of them. Now they've got to find a way to score 4 more. We might not even see the ball put in play 4 more times this game. That's how good Cottle has been with the strikeout.
Well, when you compare those numbers with Shepherd, the important thing to remember, of course, is that Caudle's thrown to twice as many batters, for context. So it's obviously her .99 is very, very impressive. So, but yes, defensively, the Cats field hasn't had to do anywhere near the work that it's had to have done over the past couple of seasons. So if you're Seacombe's coach, coaching staff, what you're wanting to do is to try and find a way to get contact on that ball and put that field under pressure, that instead of fielding, 10 balls a game or 11 balls a game to make an out in the regular season, they're fielding 4 or 5. And so, let them get the ball at them, put them under that pressure. But as I said, don't count the Tigers out yet. They have that knack of just coming back late.
Well, Shepard doesn't like the call, but it is a strikeout for Taylor Cottle.
On the outside.
On the flip side of that conversation, Anthony, we got Whitney Shepard's ERA is the best for the Tigers, but I think, remembering from the numbers, I think Reagan's got better strikeout numbers.
Yep, she does. Not by much, but definitely she does. She's pitched more. So, but yeah, Peterson has changed that defense from that battery at a whole different level. Outside. It's amazing. She's thrown 8 or 9 pitches to Peterson on the inside, and she gets Shepard on the outside looking.
She can play mind games with you, Taylor Cottle.
She's blowing my mind over here at the moment. I'm trying to figure out what the game is. It's doing a great job. Oh,
it's just another one of her weapons that she has, in that, she's going to try and jam you. She's going to try and get you to get a cheap ground out, or hit you with an up and in and strike you out. But you know that she's got that weapon just in her back pocket, just saved and ready to just freeze you on the outside edge.
Must be nice to have so many weapons in your tool bag.
It's an arsenal, isn't it?
Oh.
You mentioned Hills softball just before their grand finals next weekend as well. I won't be here for the Adelaide grand final.
The grand final in Mount Gambier happened today.
This afternoon, yeah. Grand finals all around the state. NAMSA had their grand final last weekend.
It's trophy time. Abby Mossman hanging in there. Number 7 for Taylor Cottle. Number 6 even.
And it's this part of the lineup that she's
struck out again.
Struck out Shepard twice. She's struck out Motzman twice. Cameron's a strikeout victim already, and she's coming up now.
Yeah, this was the exact part of the lineup, Shepard, Mossman, Cameron, in the second inning that came to bat, that struck out all of them.
They were Caudle's first 3 strikeouts of the game. I can see Smith's gone a step closer to the line as well this inning, by the way, after our conversation from last inning where Seacombe managed to ring off 3 hits all down that left field line. Been a big day for you, Eric. 8 innings in the semi-final, in the elimination semi.
Yeah, and it was a long B-grade game before then. The big day of softball. What a game that was, that elimination final. Port Adelaide continue to march on, another preliminary final. They'll meet the team that falls in this one tonight. That'll be on Wednesday. The winner of this game will play for the Linda Martin Shield on Saturday.
Head-to-head, Walkerville and Port this year. Port 3-1 in favour. They've outscored them 18-8 against Seacombe. 2 wins apiece. Port have outscored Seacombe 11-9 in their head-to-head results. So you'd fancy Port Adelaide, you'd say.
Well, Port Adelaide, their offense has been, I know today they scored their run off a throwing error, but they've scored 56 more runs than the next closest team. Mind-boggling stuff.
Yeah, they've increased their run production from last year, 119 runs for this year, 146. That has come at the expense of giving up a few more runs. However, when you're putting up, 6 runs a game, you're always going to be hard to beat.
Cottle trying to strike out the side. And it's a walk. What an at-bat from Hannah Cameron.
Great at-bat from the youngster.
Brings up Sasha Mutzi, who has a hit today.
Yeah, it started the 3rd innings with that single down the left field line. But what that does is it gives a little bit of a spark to that Seacombe dugout, who'd probably start to get a little bit flat at the moment, being down 5-1, and Cordell asserting her dominance, starting this inning with a couple of strikeouts.
Mutzi, first pitch swing, that goes foul. Yeah, it's a rookie nonetheless who gets the walk. Bit of an emotional boost. Weird things can happen in the finals, so Seacombe just got to hang tough here. Walkerville, though, have come with a tremendous amount of intent.
Yeah, they jumped out of the blocks, didn't they? And, maybe I've underestimated their catcher. Great shot.
How about this? Sasha Mitzi. She's 2 for 2 today. 1 to left, 1 to right.
Close there as Cameron had turned 2, looking at 3, sent back from Benedictson. Here's the Sporties replay. Erin Stone throws it perfectly to the shortstop, but she wasn't on the base. Watch Cameron if you get a chance. She turns 2 and then gets sent back.
Georgia Tompkinson now is a bit of a mini rally mounted here from Seacombe. All with their 7 and 8 hitters. Ball in play, and that was dangerously close as well.
Sasha Mutzi's having a good night.
We were just saying that, Anthony. She's 2 for 2 against Cordell.
Yeah, she'll be able to look them in the eyes afterwards. So, courtesy of Ursula for you boys.
Oh, my goodness. Couple happy Lapco.
Happy Lapco.
Ended up on our laps.
This is my first cash for comment. It's only taken 9 seasons.
Pitch upstairs. Tompkinson went fishing.
It's a great little product in the sense, the thing about it, not only can it keep you cool when it's cold, but living with 2 pitchers in my house, I can assure you that a little bit of maintenance, a little bit of pain relief, it ticks both boxes, so well worth it.
It'll go right on the low back, I reckon.
Yes, that's exactly where Kylie puts it. So.
A swing and a miss. She strikes out the side with a walk and a hit in the middle of that sequence. It's 7 punch-outs now on the day for Taylor Cottle, her first 2 times through the lineup, and a commanding 5-1 lead, all because Walkerville scored 2 in the first, 3 in the third, and that top of the lineup is eating for the Cats as they were just at the halfway point of this game.
Yeah, I mean, they haven't been able to capitalise on the Mutzi rolls yet, so they needed those hits. So can just see here, Dolman was just with a glove there. So Dolman, who's obviously, pitched a little bit before in her time, but you can just be interesting to see if they keep with Shepherd at this particular point, or...
is there a line where you just say, you know what, we're too far behind, we're just going to keep DS ready to go for the other games?
For 24 games of the year, I would say, yep, that's fine, but in a qualifying final, no matter what, every play, you're going non-stop, because it's taken you 24 games to get here and get that shot. So I would still be playing sheep stations. If I think Reagan's the best opportunity to come in and close and shut this down and keep it at 5, I'm making that change. So I think she'd be on a very short lease now with Shepherd. Cats coming back through the bottom of their line, which means you're about to cop the top again, which is where all that's come from. So
I'm not a noted coach. I did a little bit of it. I was pretty good. But if I got 2 pitches, I think 4 is the maximum. I think they've passed that point, and I think if Walkerville could see another pitcher right now, it might stem the flow a little bit. But, you know, if they can get through 8 and 9 with at least one of these getting on, they're going to score again this inning.
Yeah, I mean, well, 3 times through the lineup is when the damage happens, isn't it? So you're right. But I suppose, you know, the other couch coaches are sitting at home saying, well, what's the point showing your other pitcher at this junction? But
yeah, you're right. It's a fail-safe in this game, isn't it? You live again.
Yeah, if you're starting to think about Port Adelaide as a Seacombe person at the moment, then you're way too far ahead. It's the 4th innings of a qualifying final. You're not down by 14, you're down by 4. You've got some international superstars. You've got Becky Havison, the Australian talent squad. You've got a young outfield. You've got an experienced player at Linton left field. I mean, like, you know, Reagan Diaz is a lightning rod, and Neely Patterson's one of the best catchers we've seen. You know, so I would not be putting the sword down just yet. I think we're still fighting.
The game is, as they say, still slammable.
Yeah. 5th strikeout for Shepherd.
Doesn't feel like that way either, too. Like, I mean, she's got Mason twice, got Roberts one,
got Gall twice.
Twice, yeah, as a DP too. You want more out of your DP than that.
We talk a lot about numbers. I'll just quickly mention the statisticians this year. Lindy Radding and their team, unbelievable, brilliant. We cannot give you this information without them. Got Jesse Matchett colouring the circles to our left with 2-time Gillies Shield scorer Sue Norris, Kay Bendel as well. So thank you to that team of statisticians bringing you this insight that just makes this the best broadcast in the country.
And we hassle them too. That's the thing. You know, we're just talent. Well, sorry, you're just talent. I'm not. But yeah, we're always chasing these numbers because it means so much to unlock. So Lindy got chased this week because obviously with the awards tomorrow night, we had lots of finals calculations to come up with. So, and some of them were very close. All will be revealed tomorrow.
It's the awards night on Sunday. Aaron Stone has been on base twice tonight.
And as James would have said before in his preamble, Aaron Stone would not have done that 2 years ago.
Well, we had the question about a pitching change. Now we have our answer.
Right on the eve of the top of the lineup. So obviously...
Second time through, yeah.
Yeah.
Third time through.
Third time through, yeah.
Mossman's coming out. Dolman's going to right field. Whitney is going to third. Dolman's going to second.
Second, yeah.
Whitney's going to third. Reagan's coming into pitch. So
Tompkinson's the one
wholesale changes.
Yeah, Tompkinson's the one that's normally played second when they've made that change. But obviously with Dolman now in the lineup, we've got some experience. Obviously hasn't played as much, but quality's still quality. And I think it'll be interesting to see how the Walkerville approach this, because as I was saying before, I reckon Reagan's gained a yard, and it'd just be interesting to see if that's going to actually mean anything on the back of Shepherd.
Well, because she's a starting player, they can take her out of the game and re-enter her. So, you know, perhaps they just think that maybe they're going to get a little bit more out of Shepherd than Mossman, perhaps, and you know, she can feel herself hard done by. She had a pretty good year, Mossman, but you know, Shepherd is a college player. She's used to big games as well. Annalie Diamond, we were talking about Diaz being able to do it all. Annalie Diamond just was a gun junior, again out of the Sturt softball factory, that went over to William Jewell and played in college and extended stay in the States before coming back. And, you know, I'm so glad she's back on the field. She's just a talent of the game that we've missed seeing at her best. And so it's really good to see a college player coming back and giving back a little bit. She took on the coaching role for Seacombe, and good to see her on the diamond.
First at bat for Dolman 2 was a home run back from on Diamond 1 here. So just noticed this really. I've just noticed it tonight, like trying to slow down. Lux has done it. Peterson's done it. They're doing this little like hitch things with their hand where they're trying to build up some sort of momentum like it's a video game or something. It's crazy.
It's working.
So it's working. I mean, because she smashed that ball down the left field line.
Bailey Lux. What a power at the top of the lineup. She had that triple off the wall to start the game. Had the hit by pitch the last time.
I think it was that, 101k fastball into the dirt. Peterson picks it up like it's a tennis ball. No problems.
Walkerville trying to extend. That ball slips away.
So that's what it is in the corner of my eye. It's her leg. So for Peterson, it's her hands, but for Lux, it's her leg.
Oh, we're going to watch this, are we?
Oh, I'm sorry. I just find it's unusual just in that lead-up stance.
That ball slips away, and now it's a runner in scoring position for Walkerville.
It's not a single step, is it?
It's a double. It's a double, like it's a timing. It's just, I'm just wondering if that's, yeah, right. Okay, sorry.
Runner now in scoring position for Lux, who's been dangerous. I just saw it a background shot before. Mentioned the 3 Kath Corals between the 2 coaches for Walkerville. Then in the background of the shot, you see Hall of Famer Annie Fidge, and you see life member Derek Roberts, couple of national championships in under 19s.
The things they've seen on a softball field.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the pieces that they've added. They lose Martinez from last year. But this year, like as I think Eric said at the start, you regain King effectively full-time, you gain Robertson as recruits, and then Caudle, Lux and Smith, Annie Fidge.
Hard hit ball again, and that took a mean hop above the head of the third baseman.
Lentz missed it.
There should be a run scored. There is. It's 6-1. And Bailey Lux has done an incredible job. Bailey now has been on base 3 times, an RBI for Lux.
Sporty's replay. She really got her hands over the top of the ball. It was high in the zone, and that helped with the bounce to get over the head of Shepherd.
She's got amazing hands, Lux. They are fast. The way she turned on that at the last second, and her hands just accelerated.
We might just watch with a keen eye on Robinson's next at-bat, but I think Lux might be leading Scrum's player of the game.
She certainly is at the moment, I would think. She's having a big night. So
she sort of set the stage right away when she tripled off the wall.
Yeah.
Sophie King goes fishing.
King's done what she's needed to do for the team tonight. Influential in Wednesday night's game, but doing the team things tonight. So look for her to cash in here at the end.
2011, she was player of the final in their premiership year. And then one of the 2 that they won was at 2018 or 19 player of the final. No, 19 was Desi G. Morales. Yeah. Just a career that, has spanned 15 years at least.
Yeah, thanks for bringing 2011 back up. That was awesome.
Was that your last year?
That was the last time, yeah. That was... Sophie King cost me a 6.
A legacy.
Yeah.
5 in a row is not bad.
Yeah.
She a little annoying in that game for you.
She did. Yeah, she was. And there's some other great stories, but not for this broadcast. But, she's a ripper. Great person, but just it's amazing. It's a 15-year career, and she's just...
Yeah, looks like she's in her prime.
Yeah, like she does everything. It's... but she's been outstanding this particular season, so...
Down the line, foul. She still hustles so hard on a foul ball. You never know.
I reckon a couple of years back, she was one of the league leaders in batting averages early in the season as well. And I remember making comment to her, and then she dropped off after that. I don't think she's ever spoken to me since. No, I'm only kidding. That commentator's curse, what comes in once again. That I'm going to use that one, the softball gods playing that reverse Uno card.
Yeah.
That's a good one, Eric.
Sophie King flares one over towards second. Just a little over the head. Tompkinson makes the play.
She does hold herself to a very high standard, which is at the level that she holds it is not cool, because I reckon there'd be about 90% of the other players in the league would take what she's
been able to achieve.
Yeah, for 100%. So
15 years as well. That's a lot of games too, right?
Yeah, and 2011 can't be the year that she just started. She was dominating before that as well. I remember her in 2009. So
2011 was my first year in the job, not in softball, but in the job working for Softball SA, and we had one player in the Australian team, that was Belinda White, and one player in the Australian squad, and that was Sophie King.
Wow.
That was under 19, so.
Chelsea Robinson has had some Australian squad time. She's going to ground out here, and that will do it for the 4th inning. But Walkerville tack on another run. They've had RBIs from Lux, Robinson, Smith, and Roberts in what has been a pretty dominating performance so far. There's still 3 innings to go. We'll see if Seacombe can try to mount a rally.
Yeah, they're upbeat over there at the moment, the Tigers. So they're still very positive. They're still working at it. So from that perspective, they're not out of it. But any run in a final is hard to catch up, especially 5. But you can just see here Reagan Diaz on deck, just getting ready. She still wants to do it.
Yeah, they need a spark. It's got to come from TS.
Yeah, and she's one of the 11 people that'll be in the running for the Kath Coral medal tomorrow night. So some fairly handy names on that list.
Yeah, Maddie Cameron, that surprised me. Sturt obviously not having their strongest season that they've ever had, and she was slow starter, so she's going to be a strong finisher in the count. Caudle to her in 24 strikeouts is going to poll a lot of votes. It's a proven vote-winning recipe, isn't it? A pitcher that throws a lot of strikeouts.
Sophie King's going to take some votes off of her, though, for sure.
Golden's a proven vote winner, a previous Kath Cole medalist herself. You've taken the graphic away too quickly.
Marcelino's going to take it. Marcelino's going to take votes off of Golden. So
and Maslin as well, right?
And Maslin as well, yeah, previous winner. So here we are. Well, do you want to take this while we've got James away? Eric's away.
Absolutely. Caudle, Diaz. Mouth-watering matchup here. These two in the top 10. It's going to be a big night tomorrow night. I hope you look after yourself. I hope you've got some help. I will be putting a 2-week-old to bed, and I've got FOMO already. I'm seriously, I want to know the medal winners, because normally I'd know by now.
I was being respectful.
High in the zone.
I know one of your favourite things was Team of the Year, and I nearly reached out to you. I nearly did. And I thought, no, just let him enjoy it. And he's got plenty on his plate. So
it's fun. It's a fun time of year, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's going to be recorded. Thank you, producer Brandon. Looking forward to seeing what happens as Diaz goes 3 pitches into the count. And Caudle maybe on that pitch just being a little careful, because Diaz has that ability to spark a side. One's in there for a call. Played umpire Pete Fairley, Nikki Wong at first, and Dave Borovnik at third. Our new generation of Blues.
Very much evolving. Some great younger players coming through as well. So
ground ball to Smith, who's quick on a bounce throw. Great pickup from Mason at 1. And got some appreciation from Mr. Weatherstone. Let's have a look at the Sporties replay.
Well, you look at the fact that Diaz is already nearly up there because she's so fast. But if you wanted to know why a young under-18 player is in the running for one of our new awards, which of course is recognising the best defensive players, when it's a combination of put-outs and assists and game starts and positions that you play, and there's a lot that goes into actually doing it, and somebody will win it for the first time tomorrow night, and she is in the running for it. and demonstrated there by that great step out as she makes the infield a little bit smaller, but holds her nerve and kept the ball in front of her.
Brilliant into the box. Watches that one go through high. Anthony, another new award that you've brought in?
Well, the feedback obviously that we've been working through was to recognise everybody, and that's what we've tried to do. So we don't do them on a whim, and I think it's justified that in a sport that is so specific in what it's trying to achieve in regards to the best hitter, the best pitcher, makes it sort of hard to recognise 50% of your game is spent in defence. So it's just as important. And catches, unfortunately, in the best defensive award get judged very harshly because obviously the putouts and so on. But they also get more opportunities because of where they are fielding in the positions. But I can tell you that there were obviously, it was probably one of the most contested awards that we had, and I think it's going to be well worthy.
It's got some good names on there as well. Like you normally think defence, you think of your pivots or even your catches, as you're mentioning. I mean, catchers should have their own award. Pitchers get their own award. Catchers should get it. I mean, they're the ones that do the thinking. And then they take a battering when the pitcher misses their spot, 4 out of 10 times. But great initiative again, Anthony, because recognition probably just doesn't need to go to the best player in the league, because you can have another dozen or 15 or 20 players that have had brilliant years that never get recognised. Yeah.
Lynn isn't going to let anything remotely close go past her. Her last at bat, she went down looking. She was unhappy. At least that one she's committed to. But yeah, look, as you say, it's we're very comfortable with the system as we finished with it in the end. And as I said, I think the fact that offense, defense, pitchers, the best, the youngest, all get recognised, and spending 6 months playing the sport, 24 games, so much training, plus your state duties and so on, that's in the best softball comp in the country. I think it's worthy of them looking into it.
Caudle gets her 8th strikeout. Lint goes down swinging. And up to bat now is Neely Peterson. She had that long at bat her last time up. Ripped an RBI single to left field. This time, third base, Ellie Smith is 3 steps behind third and 1 step off the line. And you can also see left fielder Sophie Roberts is on the line as well. There is a plan against Peterson, it's to go inside. Yeah,
and now that's the first time also that was above the letters. A lot of that other stuff had been waste breaking down. And, Emily Price is, where she likes to have the ball when she's batting and stuff like that. So, you're right. There's definitely a plan there.
Look where Peterson is standing, though, right now. Way at the back of the box. In
that corner, yep.
And she talked about that in the broadcast when she was commentating Taylor Caudle pitching on Wednesday, basically saying, you got to make a decision when you're facing Taylor Caudle. You either got to be way in the front and kind of hope you can greet it right away, or you need to be Smith at the back.
There, 1 step off the line, 2 steps behind the base.
Yeah, that's such a great point, Eric. And you can see she's inviting that. She's inviting that by that stance in that regard. And it's funny that noticing that, because I don't think she was doing that in the last at-bat, and 2 of the last 3 pitches so far in this at-bat have been on the outside. So if you're going to step back and away, well, then I'm going to make you stretch your arms. So can't wait to see how this one plays out as well.
They nearly got her on that outside edge, didn't they? They tried to surprise her, but it was just a little, maybe up or out. And she goes again. She's been behind in the count for about 12 or 13 pitches of her last 2 at-bats.
Yeah, and she's still, I so desperately wanted to call Blue Fairley out there and just talk about his ground skills, and just realised I had a mic in my mouth. Yes, 100%. I'll tell you one thing is, if the Tigers do make it back to the dance next Saturday, she's got a lot of intel that she didn't have before the start of tonight.
Peterson flares one over towards right
Stone's
field.
a
Aaron
chance.
Stone running this down.
Glove out too early, too long. Needed to run to position first and then set up for the catch.
So we go again with Neely Peterson, who's just going to want a minute of Bill Benedictson's time. I don't know if they're both just, both pitchers and catchers and coach and everybody just trying to get back on the same page. Maybe just break up a run of a bunch of foul balls in a row once again. Bailey Lux having to have an extra word with Taylor Cottle.
Definitely an evolution of the final, though. You know, I mean, we've talked about since Christmas about playing more ball and getting better, and she's been probably one of the most dominant players since Christmas. But two of the 3 at-bats tonight have both been big battles.
Change up.
Yeah. Maybe off speed, I would have thought, more so than a set change. It definitely mixing with their pace at the moment.
It's impressive that she can keep up with every single one of these pitches, though, like that Caudle's throwing at her as well. Yep. Some batters are just sitting on a pitch.
Yeah.
Whereas, and, you know, I mentioned it before in our last at-bat, you know, making that 2-stroke adjustment. She has just been going hard at every single pitch. She's good enough to identify the change-up out of the hand to get some bat on ball. She's pulling everything.
And again, another foul ball. This is getting crazy.
The other person that's getting the information out of this, though, is Lux. The advantage here, of course, now is that, you know, again, Lux hasn't played 10 games yet for the Cats. And here she is catching in a qualifying final to an absolute wrecking machine of a pitcher of the competition. So to obviously build up the chemistry is one thing, but then to also, you know what to call for these big situations.
Just stays with it. It's got to be frustrating from Cottle's perspective.
Yeah, that's the thing. I can't imagine that a pitcher would want to have somebody like that that's sat this deep. But I would suggest that Lux would be now just starting to play around with things and just saying, hey, listen, I'm going to try this and see what she does on that.
I haven't seen Caudle shake off any pitches.
No.
So she's throwing to exactly what she's being called. I wouldn't be surprised if they have a chat in the dugout after this and say throw something different.
Tried to go inside. Cottle thought she had her. It's just going to be ball 2. After all of these pitches, we've now got ball 2.
And it was still hard and in as well. Like, they're not changing this whatsoever. You know, as a catcher, I'm thinking you've got to throw something different here. Like, I know she's varied the pace a little bit more. This one might be going outside. There's timeout called. We've got another baseball out in right field. Is that game not over yet?
It started late too. I mean, we started late. We're an hour behind, and so don't know what's happening, but I know that they started late as well.
Yeah, Sturt on the verge of winning another championship on Diamond 1.
Matt Williams.
Ball down low. It's now a full count. And this this battle's gone well into the double digits. Cottle's thrown well over 20 pitches to Neely Peterson today.
I think she's missed a trick on that last one. They missed down and they missed low. I would have been trying to pepper that outside edge just at least once.
I think you said before too, James.
Got her. A strikeout looking, a long battle. Peterson won round 2, or round 1, round 1. Round 2 goes to the pitcher.
That's going to mean a lot to Caudle, and you can tell that it's going to mean a lot because Caudle's going to be the last person into the dugout, which isn't normal. Normally the pitcher sort of goes through the line and gets some acknowledgement everywhere, but she was the last person to greet everybody in there, which I think showed that That was a big win. That's mentally a big win to get her looking. But what I was going to say before was when, James, you were talking about that fact that you would just throw something away and just let it go. Problem was they had runners on last time. This time they didn't. And so they could have gone up and just thrown it away, and it wouldn't have mattered, because if it hits the fence, so what? If it's ball 2, ball 3, and see if she chases. But yeah, look, it's Kat's systematic here. So just getting the job done.
The slight delay is that Peterson was the last out, so she had to get dressed. But she was pretty disappointed with that call. Got a generous inside edge there, Lux. But I guess that's what happens when you've set up the 15 pitches before that you've just called to that batter. I'm sure she'll have a word with the plate umpire there just to make sure it goes both ways.
Well, we are now in the bottom of the 5th inning. It is a 6-1 game for Walkerville. Walkerville scored 2 runs out of the gate. Chelsea Robinson with 2 RBI. Single in the first, and then in the third, another 3 runs put on the board. Robinson had another RBI. Bailey Lux has an RBI herself. 2. Sophie Roberts has an RBI. They scored 3 in the third, 1 in the fourth, and now they've got a foul ball to start this one off. But significantly, it's a 5-run lead, which means if Walkerville scored 2 runs in this inning, it's over.
Well, they nearly got a lead off there. Right up until the last bounce, just went completely sideways, and Shepherd just stayed off it. I don't know if we'll see that on the replay, but it was bouncing down the line, and then it just decided to go turn left hard.
There's another look on the Sporties replay.
Like that looked like it was actually going out to the 5-6 hole.
It wasn't until the second bounce that it looked like it was going to start to go into foul territory. The third bounce.
It looked like a Champion League's cricket pitch. That's
extra innings in the first semi-final. Last year it went to 9 innings. That semi-final.
Wow.
Hiccup. Dolman.
We've spoken about it before, about players that can play every position. I've seen her pitch. I've seen her catch. I know she played majority outfield at college due to an injury, but there you go. There's her middle infield skills on display.
Yeah.
I was just going to say that if we do get into run rule territory, last year's major semi-final was in 5 innings.
Yeah.
So we could be seeing a similar.
Last year, the preliminary final was a good one between Port Adelaide as well. They had to go the long way and play 3 games to get in there after they dropped the first final. They beat Glenelg in the prelim, and now they are then back to the...
That's right. It was Glenelg that beat Sturt in their 9 innings.
Crazy game there, too. Epic one.
Yeah, look, I mean, if you beat the other 3 teams in the top 4 to win your final, your grand final, you've earned it. So
Sophie Roberts swings at one upstairs as Regan Diaz into her 2nd inning of work. She got the final 2 outs of the 4th inning. Bill Benedictson didn't want to pitch Whitney Shepherd a 3rd time through the lineup. Roberts had an RBI her last time up in the 3rd inning. Gonna be a strikeout this time from Regan Diaz. There's 2 down.
first time swinging, then the hit, and then that on the outside.
Nice change of it. If Seacombe come back and win this, or if they do lose this and they play Wednesday night, do you think Bill Benedictson's tactics might be reversed? Start Regan, finish Whitney?
A lot of it will depend purely on, you'll go back over the numbers and you'll go Diaz versus Port Adelaide, Shepherd versus Port Adelaide, and how your matchups go. And for Port Adelaide, it's that 3. It's Marcelino, Golden, and Maslin. Who was the most effective against those 3? Because they're the ones that have done over 50% of the damage that team's done. So Liz will be confident. She'll feel better for the performance today. And Golden and Marcelino, you can't ever discount, or Maslin. So they've still got some handy players in there. And now that they've got over that West Torrens win today, that's huge for confidence. So Wednesday night at the moment, it's going to be big game if it does turn out to be. And I think I said into my notes, if there's one team on the back going back the other way that they didn't want to face, that might be the matchup on Wednesday night, I reckon. And I think that's only because I think Port had played well against Seacombe throughout the season.
Well, I mentioned before that Port have a winning record against Walkerville, 3-1 this year, head-to-head, and they're tied with Seacombe 2-2, but they slightly outscore them. So Port's going to fancy themselves Wednesday night, you'd think. Their aggressive style of play is something that these other teams are trying to replicate. Yeah.
Well, tonight the Cats have run on Peterson.
Yeah.
You know, they've challenged her. And
swing and a miss.
So I don't think it's as easy as just the DS Shepherd swap from that perspective. But yeah, you'd have to do some serious homework. You'd have to get a bit of a feel in the clubhouse as far as who's up and about, who's positive, who's doing all the right things. And it's been a long time since the Tigers have been here, so it's a big stage to step back up on. And you know, they've got some young players. You've got Tompkinson, you've got Pash. So, and that was the commentator from the last game.
Yeah, Courtney Hokinson stepping in. We'll give her another plug for her Catching with Court, her Instagram page that you can follow to book in some sessions. It doesn't matter if you are in Australia or overseas in Minnesota, which is a cool insight from Courtney Hokinson, who actually talked a lot about playing Port Adelaide, about how challenging that is as a catcher to navigate all the chaos they bring to you on the base paths and just how they make you think in 4 different directions.
It's a mentally draining game when you come up against a team that's got no hole in their lineup. We know that Caudle's going to Europe. She's going to play in the same team in Italy with Peterson.
Yep.
Do we know Hokinson doing the rounds?
We believe, but the talk is, yes, similar type of thing, but also maybe coming back here too as well. So a bit of some serious discussion there. But the cool thing about what she's talking about there is she's done great work with the Hills and those younger players, and from a leadership perspective as well, and so on. But the catching aspect is something that you can, reach out to her via online and do that stuff, which is, I think, pretty cool, because it's, to get coaching from a catcher that's been at that level and had the success that she's had.
Yeah, she's at that part of her career that she's got the time to do that. I mean, you're not going to be able to do that to a Titsa Cronus or a Belinda White, because they are in their own head still preparing to try and get better as well. So, take advantage of it while you can.
Yeah, absolutely. And doesn't matter if she's here or not. That's the point she's making. So her online stuff is great. So
Becky Havis up the middle, and Havis got robbed by Chelsea Robinson, who is having a heck of a game with the bat. She's made a really nice play in the field on Wednesday night. She made an amazing play as well. And that is why you put your best athlete at shortstop.
And the reason why Walkerville recruited Lux as well, right? So they can get Robinson back into the shortstop position, middle infield.
Yeah. I said the key to Walkerville was the lineup, I reckon, and this is as close to as good as you're going to get in that regard.
Yeah, up the middle, just absolutely rock solid, starting from Lux to Caudle to King to Robinson. My goodness. Not a whole lot of holes, are there?
No, and it must give you confidence when, like for somebody like Caudle to have King and to have Robinson behind you, for sure, but it must just lift them as well, watching her do her work as well.
When Shepherd jammed a little bit, it's going to fall in front, and you can't really make much of a play on that. That was literally the soft spot. Can only really land in that position if you sort of bloop it over the pitcher like that.
Sporty Spar replay. I think Sophie wanted that to be her ball, but I think out of the corner of her eye, Taylor's drifted back towards her and then pulled out. But I think the fact that Chelsea had aggressively jumped in, I don't think Sophie went all the way through with it. So
the way things are going, their next game is a grand final in 7 days' time. So in the top of the 6, you're not going to risk something like laying out for a play like that.
I'm not entirely sure I'd want to run into Chelsea Robinson. So
Cottle trying to get on her 10th strikeout. She's got 9 today.
Seacombe have made her work, though. I mean, not just the Petersons. I mean, the Petersons are very much outlying at bats. But they've had to make her work, which is, you know, I think going to be good for her.
Here's Dolman for her first plate appearance.
Can she provide a late spark?
Just got jammed. Mason able to keep her hand in her glove this time as she takes a
Well, now it's that dangerous point where it's less outs up your sleeve than runs that you're trying to chase down. 4 outs to go, 5 runs behind.
And any coach or player will tell you this is the hardest part of the game. Not the opening, not the middle. It's just that closing part of the game is so hard. You feel like you've got to go and do something to win it, whereas in reality, you just need to keep doing what you've done that's got you to there in the first place. And it's that difference about trying too hard or maybe doing something that you're not.
And that might be the difference between, you know, Port, Walkerville and Seacombe, in that Seacombe have got 2 premierships in their club's history, whereas, you know, Port have been to the last 3 grand finals. Walkerville have got, 14 premierships and, you know, 3 in the last, 10, 11 years, 12 years, whatever it is. And so they know how to win these games.
Yeah.
And they've got players that know how to win, and they've got the coaching staff that know how to win.
Yeah.
Swing and a miss.
Oh, that was close. That's a really good pickup by Lux. So Shepherd just drifting off as she goes up that line, and Mason good enough to be alert to it.
Lux just trying to put that exclamation mark on the smart player of the game.
Cottle looking for strikeout number 10, and there it is. Yep, you get the double confirmation. Well, it's just hard to win games when you allow, when you don't allow a lot of runs. It's really easy to win them. And Taylor Cottle continuing that form. She's allowed 1 run.
Yeah.
Here's
And
a 10.
I'll go as far as saying I still think she's still got something in that tank, just quietly. I still think there's there's a pitch or 2 that maybe hasn't been thrown in the rotation tonight or in the mix, with the conscious effort that Porter watching this right now, and Seacombe, could be back. And I still reckon she's got something up. You can't throw 500-plus strikeouts in a setup like what they have over in the US and have the success that she's had and not have an extra gear when it matters. So, honest, it's just been amazing to watch her play. I mean, I've enjoyed every time. Look, if she was playing tonight and it wasn't on live stream, I would have come down just to watch. She's an outstanding athlete.
She
done some great stuff with the junior pitchers here too, with her coaching clinics and stuff like that. So she's imprinted some stuff there. Georgia Mason looking for a contact at bat here tonight. She needs one. She's struggled against Shepherd. She needs to make amends here against Diaz.
pops one up to the right side.
And there we are, putting a ball into Baseball's field. That's good.
Yeah, the game's over, though.
Yeah. Oh, it's over.
Yeah, Sturt have just won another premiership. It's back-to-back for Sturt, and it's 4 straight grand final losses for Henley and Grange.
Well, Walkerville Softball Club will be the first people to tell you that adversity is what built the dynasty that the GOAT then went on to create. And they lost 4 of 5. One of them was a light game that was effectively split with Glenelg.
Yeah, that was their first, right? The famous drawn grand final,
Yeah.
First of their run.
So they lost 4 of 5, and then they just, after that, they went on a tear that was just, we've never seen before.
11 out of 13.
I don't know if it's
14
possible to see that again.
in their history.
No, that era, that was a special era. That was a tough era too. So you know, there were superstars, and not in the way that we talk about them now, because we've obviously got much better access to stats and video and so on, but there were superstars everywhere across that league. And
Mason puts the ball in play.
that's not bad. She, like, just a little bit up the top of the bat, but the important thing was that she's made some contact there, and she's beaten a pitch that was going on the inside, and she got her hands out in front. So
might have a late change here.
yeah, Reed coming in, I think, for
Aaron Reed for Steph Goff.
Yeah.
Well, the big story in this one is 2 runs scored right out of the gate for Walkerville. A triple to Bailey Lux really set the tone off the wall. Chelsea Robinson doubled in a pair of runs in the first, and then in the third, well, Chelsea Robinson had her 3rd RBI of the game, and Sophie Roberts also chipped in with an RBI. So did Ellie Smith, and then in the 4th, they added a 6th run.
Good move by Coach Stansfield here. I mean, Steph's had not an easy night. She's had a couple of strikeouts, so...
This one popped up into foul territory. Havis calls everybody up, and Becky Havis makes the play. And 2 down.
So Aaron Stone's been, to see Becky Havis taking a well-judged catch there. I like that while she was doing that, Peterson was in line with her, just using the fence as the marker, telling her that she was clear, because obviously they were in line together. So still fighting and still being a very, very professional player here in the 6th, even when things are starting to look pretty dire right now.
Yeah, there are only 3 outs up their sleeve when they come out to bat again versus Taylor Cottle. It'll be their last opportunity to mount what would be a just dumbfounding rally if they were able to score 5 and somehow win this or extend this game. Aaron Stone at the middle, a nice trap from Reagan Diaz. That's
Wow.
a nice play.
That's a very nice play.
Diaz has got 8 outs. She's had to get 8 outs in this game. She's faced the lineup once, and she's looked really, really solid.
Yep.
You got to wonder if that is enough of a starting pitcher case.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely going to have to look at it. And as we sort of talked about, maybe it was the matchups and so on. But one thing I've noticed about DS is success coming into this part of the game. Just good changes of pace. Enough that just trying to offset hitters in that regard. So,
well, we got to start thinking about our Sparms player of the game, fellas. Who's on your short list for a player of the game today?
I got 2. One's, they're very close, but I reckon one's had a really, really influential game in a final.
I'll go mine first, and then I'm sure you two will overrule me the way I feel this is going to go. I was thinking Chelsea Robinson for a great play up the middle. She's got 2 hits, 3 RBIs in the different one, but I imagine, Bailey Lux I wouldn't be disappointed with either. She is right there on par with me with Chelsea Robinson. So one of those 2 for mine, I would say.
Caudle's thrown 10 Ks.
Yep, that's a great in a qualified final.
And given up 1 run. Mutsi has 2 for 2. She's up to bat right now. But you're right. I think it's between Robinson and Lux. For mine, Robinson, couple of RBIs, couple of hits. But Lux has called a brilliant game for the Cats. Yeah. She's really controlled Caudle.
And my vote is for Lux too, in the sense that I believe that her first at-bat set a very, very strong marker right from the outset.
Now, can she make this catch? No.
She's the only player to get a hit against Diaz. Diaz faced 9 batters for 1 hit and retired 8. And that was an RBI single. And that was the last run of the game.
That plays.
Yeah, all 3 players have been influential. I feel Lux is probably you know, scoring those, being the person that's gone on and scored and set the tone. But, yeah, 10 Ks in a qualifying final against the number 2 ranked team, keeping them to 1, is a fairly good night out. And Chelsea Robinson has been influential at shortstop. So I don't know if we can give out 3. I'm sorry.
Well, we got 3 prizes, but,
So-
you know, yeah.
Yeah, cool.
We did 2 for the last game, just so you know. We broke the rules a little bit. We went Brie Marcelino, and we also went Liz Engler.
Oh, okay.
Only because Marcelino created the last run.
She did.
Had an infield bunt hit, put pressure on the defense. Then she stole second, and then she stole home all in about 2 minutes to win the game. But Liz Engler was pretty phenomenal in her 8 innings of pitching.
Yeah.
So we gave him 3 things and said sort it out, but then we talked to him both.
So you come down to their last 3 out, and top of the 7th. We've gone the journey, we've gone the distance, so that's one thing that Seacombe can take out of this game.
And they've had some pretty plucky at-bats when they've been down by a lot in the last couple innings.
Yeah, I didn't realise we're playing softball at 10:30 on a Saturday night. It's this is old school. We've extended them, thanks, producer Brandon.
Talking about the lights.
Yeah. Far out. You're not bad, are you?
Don't worry,
Brandon.
there's still
right.
time. There's still time for something crazy to happen.
That's right. I'm just checking them as we speak.
Yeah, please do. Mutzi is having a heck of a game. Good at bat versus Taylor Cottle as well.
You would suggest that she's been nearly Seacombe's best, along with obviously Peterson in that regard. So
had a big tag as well on a double play on a thrower out. A pitch slips away.
Is that a thing, is it? But I can hear the baseball singing the club song.
It is for the Saints, yeah.
Okay.
And when they win it loud. It's probably the noise you hear in the background is Taylor Cottle gets strikeout number 11, number 235, if you include the regular season for her.
Well, that puts her
very, very close.
within 10 or 11, right? 10 or 11 of Katie Sutherland Finch.
So we finally found that number of what that mark is. It's Katie Sutherland Finch with 245.
That's the one.
Big research done by a number of people.
Now, that's since we've been keeping records.
Yeah, since we've been keeping records.
Since we've been keeping records. I still think there is a young lady out of Florida that might be up there with 200 next to her name in Monica Perry, but I don't know. We didn't keep stats in her first 2 years, I think. So we don't really know.
We do know Taylor Cottle's had a heck of a season, though.
Oh yeah, 100%.
That's a fairly good pitch in the 7th. Just hard, fast, sharp breakaway, and again, just you can't get a read on it at the moment. Is she stressed? Is she tired? It's just very, very difficult to go against.
Poke over the head of Chelsea Robinson.
Going to take something out of that.
Yeah, Georgia Tompkinson, a confidence building at bat, heading into what is looking like a preliminary final date with Port Adelaide.
Very, very interesting matchup.
Just quickly, if we could go back to Katie Sutherland Finch, she, as Tompkinson might have got something in the eye there, maybe?
I think so.
It's just a pause in the game. Katie Sutherland Finch, in that year, won the Kath Coral. So that was enough to get her the Kath Coral medal.
By 19 votes.
19 votes? Okay.
She won by 19 votes.
Thanks for clearing that up.
Did she bat?
She hit a ton. She's responsible for Softball SA's biggest softball highlight video. 18 batters to the plate, 18 strikeouts. She also hit a home run in that game. She had an immaculate inning in that truly perfect game as well. So
crazy.
Katie Sutherland-Finch could rake the ball.
That was one of the wildest games I've ever seen and watched. Yeah, 18 up, 18 down, perfect game, 18 strikeouts, home run, immaculate inning.
Yeah.
Immaculate inning is the 9 pitch, 9 strikes.
I feel like she still wasn't like happy with her performance too. She's like, could have struck out 19.
Well, time ran out, but there was also run rule as well. So it was so she didn't have that opportunity to go 21 up, 21 down.
Yeah, we were talking to Becky Havis about that. She was just a young buck in the lineup then. She's in that video. She struck out 3 times during it. She was. We were talking
18
about
batters. She couldn't have struck out 3 times.
Or twice. She struck out twice in that game. You're right. Yeah, she struck out twice in that game. We were having a laugh about that in the broadcast on Wednesday night, talking about the Georgia Mason catch.
She went on about that a little bit too much, I think.
Reagan Diaz up the middle. So some good fight back shown here from the 9 and the 1 hitters. That's Tompkinson into Diaz. And, well, you never know if the next batter can do some damage. Then Neely Peterson can come to the plate to try to make this game interesting.
And then if she did do something crazy like a out of loaded bases grand slam, and then, of course, that would bring Becky Havis to the plate. Oh, wow. This could get... Bree Lent's last 2 at-bats. Strikeout looking, strikeout swinging. So
does have a hit though in the first
at the start.
Strong, yeah.
Good to see. I mean, I've said the Tigers have all year just kept on doing this late in games anyway, but it's good to see that they're still chasing hard. And as I said, qualifying final, you should be. They're not an easy game to get to. Reagan Diaz clapping, as is Tompkinson, trying to build some energy out there for Lint. So she's got some genuine focus at the plate. Ahead in the count.
Well, there's a strike thrown. 2-1 count. Tigers have been hanging in there, but Walkerville exploded out of the gates. They had another big 3rd inning and added another in the 4th. And Cottle has helped try to lock it down since that point. Good swing from Breland.
Yeah, they've been a powerhouse tonight, though, haven't they, the Cats? Lux and Smith both hit the fence on the fall. Robinson's got a couple of RBIs, or a few RBIs from 2 different at-bats, and Sophie Roberts contributing as well. Erin Stone at the bottom of the order as well. So, they can turn it around from bottom of the order to the top with great effectiveness.
Lynch straight up in the air, straight back behind the backstop.
Tigers showing some fight. Like it's hard to imagine if you're watching, if this is your first season watching, they didn't even have a Premier League team
a couple years ago. Yep.
2022.
Look at Glenelg. I mean, the year before that they didn't have it, and they finished 3rd last year. So it shows if you knuckle down.
Good at bat from Breland.
Yeah.
You can see some of the players, Sophie King out there just stretching around, trying to keep warm. It's got a bit cold and windy out there today.
Yeah, she can't wear a Happy Lap coat that she won on Wednesday out there on the field. Not part of regulation uniform, but may be happy to have it on the bench. But it is brisk here. The later we go.
Swing and miss. Complete change of pace from Taylor Cottle, and Walkerville are 1 out away from going back to the grand final. That's strikeout number 12 from Taylor Cottle, who is quietly mean, Tigers have done a good job of getting base runners on. They've done that in all but 2 of the innings, but 12 strikeouts for Cottle.
That's something that we haven't seen in 2 innings, is a foul ball from Peterson.
These two have faced, what, 20-something pitches in the game today?
If they make it back next week, this will not be the same. I don't reckon it'll be anything like it. I think both have learned what they've needed to learn out of this.
Neely Peterson jams one over to the left side. What a diving effort from Chelsea Robinson, by the way. Got booted to the left. Bases are going to be loaded for Becky Habas, who in, you know what, Seacombe are a swing away from being a swing away.
That's the second time that Peterson's got a jagged a hit over the top of the infield and into left field, but that plan, has it paid off tonight? She's got 2 hits.
Peterson not happy about the 2-out speed up rule. She wanted to stay out there and be a part of it. So
she's faced 25 pitches and got 2 hits. Did that plan work?
That one was very high up the handle.
She's got an RBI.
Havas is in the same spot too.
Back.
Backing in that corner.
Well, she swings at the first pitch. It's jammed right to Sophie King, who takes the ball and clinches the spot in the grand final for Walkerville.
Wow.
They'll face either Seacombe or Port Adelaide. What are we thinking? Lux for the player of the game?
I think Lux, but I mean, again, it's hard to go past Caudle's effort. It's hard to go past Robinson. Mutsi was good. Peterson, you do what you want. Very good. So
I think Lux.
Yeah.
You know, she started this game off. It was the bottom of the inning.
That first
with a triple
off
off the first pitch, hit the fence on the fall. They scored off that as well, and that would have been enough to at least tie it.
Yeah.
Add her next turn at bat, she was hit by pitch. She eventually scored off the bat of. A sacrifice bunt for Sophie King, and then scored from Chelsea Robinson. So, impact player every time she was involved in the play.
Yeah, she did. And again, obviously we talk about Caudle strikeouts, but somebody's had to have caught them and called them. So, yeah, catcher's getting some love tonight. So,
well, there's the final score, 6-1. We'll catch up with our Spums player of the game and Eric Bolnar in just a moment. But what that means is that Walkerville Cats are through to the grand final, 7 p.m. next Saturday night.
Yeah, for a 7:30 game start. There's obviously 7 to 7:30. There are some formalities that we go through before the start of a game. So, yeah, 7:30 for the actual game telecast itself.
Seacombe Tigers live again. They will play the preliminary final this Wednesday night, 8 p.m. start time against Port Adelaide Magpies, who were victorious earlier today. We've got Eric Bolnar and the Spums, player of the game.
Bailey, a heck of a game today. You were on base 3 times, but I want to talk about that first at-bat of the game, a first pitch swing. I mean, I think we all thought it was going to be a home run off the bat. I think you maybe thought it was too. No way. No. But what was the intent for Walkerville and yourself going into this game?
Yeah, we were definitely going to be very aggressive at the plate. We know that there are some good hitters, so we really wanted to come at them offensively. Usually as a leadoff hitter, you don't want to chase the first pitch, but I was like, if it's there, I'm going to be aggressive. So, yeah, it was a great way to start the game.
It was a nice end to the season for Walkerville. What was the confidence level of the group heading into this one?
It was like a whirlwind, the end of the the bracket play and everything. So we were just dialed in no matter what it looked like. We've seen everybody now 4 times, going on 5. So we've studied them and just got prepared as we could and brought our confidence in. I'm ready to go.
You quite literally had a front row seat to one of the most entertaining matchups of the games, which was the Cottle versus Peterson showdowns ×2. That both of them went over 10 pitches in them. How we were wondering too about how you navigate that as a catcher when it just was it was an awesome battle both times.
Definitely. Yeah, I remember she joked and was like, this is the longest bout of my life. And yeah, we were joking around, catcher versus catcher brain. She kind of knows what I'm thinking. I know what she's thinking when I go up to bat a little bit. So we can kind of pick each other in that way with both of our experiences. So with Taylor, she said, she kept getting those hits, but it's just, you play the game, you're against a great opponent, and they win some, you lose some. But I think we did the best we could against a great hitter. So.
You obviously came in the second half of this season. What challenges or things did you have to sort of overcome to get ready in very short amount of time before finals?
Yeah, I think just the cohesion within my team was something that was really important to me. I had taken a little bit of a break from softball, so I definitely had to get into shape a little bit. But yeah, I think more than anything, it was just being able to work, especially with Taylor, and just my infield, my outfield, and finding where I fit for the team and doing whatever I can for them that day whenever I need to show up and do what I need to do.
Well, to find where you fit, you're going to be playing for a championship next week on Saturday night. You get to skip the preliminary final, go right to it. I'm sure that feels great.
It feels amazing to have that little bit of security, but we're definitely going to play with that little fire under our butts, just like we did today. All games are the same, and all our competition is ready to come for us. So, yeah, we definitely still have a hard week of practice, so we'll be ready for next Saturday.
Well, before you go, we'll give you your prizes. This is to keep you warm from Happy Lap Co. Or maybe, I don't know, help with the recovery a little bit. Good on the lower back. This one to keep you fed. You can go over to Sporty's Bar and get yourself, whatever you want from Sporty's Bar. And, one from Sparms to keep your arms nice and safe from the sun.
Really. Shout out to all of these companies. They're amazing. Happy Lap Co. I'm excited.
Congratulations, Bailey Lux. A big win, 6-1, a big game from you. Back to you guys.
Thank you so much. Have a great night.
Thank you very much, Bailey.
Happy catcher and a happy player. She was terrific on the mic. Bailey Lux, the Sparms player of the game. Couple of hits, couple of runs, called a beauty and led the Walkerville Cats to a great win.
I think the one thing, Fred, I could listen to Eric Bonner interview people all night long. He's just... he just asks the right questions and he just knows what he's doing. But the thing I loved about it there was that the acknowledgement of, as a catcher, with a batting catcher, and just that little byplay that was going on. I love that. So, I think it was a great game. Walkerville showed their class and their experience and how to close that out. Seacombe will be much better for that experience, but they're going to have a tough opponent with a confident Port Adelaide coming off of, beating West Torrens today, which, is for them a big deal. So Wednesday night's going to be huge.
Yeah, for me in that game, I can't see the Tigers, who hadn't allowed more than 2 runs in a game since November 16th, going back-to-back games, allowing a big mark. So for me, that game's going to come down to Liz Engler. She had to do it today to out-duel one of the best we've seen in Steph Drzezinski. She did it, but by the skin of her teeth. Only the one unearned run in regulation play. For me, it's going to have to be Liz Engler again if she's going to navigate through a pretty dangerous Tiger squad.
Yeah, their big 3 in the batting lineup really are the best in the comp. So with some argument now coming from Lux, King, Robinson and Smith from Walkerville Cats. So
don't forget Sophie Roberts, who had an RBI today too.
Right, so Port Adelaide, just so much strength in their lineup. I don't know if Seacombe's got the same firepower. So you mentioned they haven't given up 2 runs since November, but how many times have they scored more than a few against one of these top few teams? So Seacombe have got it all in front of them. But that's the thing is, from now, it's everything to lose. But for some reason, it feels like they got nothing to lose because they've come from obscurity, haven't they?
Fifth.
Yeah, you still feel like the pressure's on Port.
No Premier League team from a couple of years ago, and Port Adelaide have been in the last 3 grand finals. You're right.
I say this about the Tigers, and I know Eric's mentioned this before. They're one side that if they do drop a game, they normally do bounce back, and they normally bounce back. Port's obviously come off of a really weird loss against Glenelg, and then they had to play the Hills when Megan Williams was getting sent off in her final game, and the Hills had scored some runs. So I don't know. It's going to be huge. I can't wait for it.
Well, I said it earlier. Their matchups so far this year, 2 wins apiece. I think it's 9 runs to 11 in favour of Port. 2 runs between the 2 teams in their 4 matchups. Where no one's been able to score more than a couple of runs.
It's going to be close, but we do know that the Cats will be playing for a grand final at 7 p.m. next week. You can watch that on Spacequake Sports. Who they'll play, you'll have to watch on Wednesday. Anthony Weatherston, James Harris, and everybody at Spacequake Sports, thank you very much for your coverage today. We appreciate you all, and we'll see you on Wednesday.